Hey guys, good morning. It's still morning. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. We've just had a little bit of a sell-off here in this the last about an hour and 20 minutes here, and I want to talk a little bit about it. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. All right, so let's go ahead and flip on into the chart. I'm going to be taking a look at the ES chart. I'm going to talk about what just happened. All right, so we've been counting this for a while, and what I had was from down here at the bottom, a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a correction, and then a little 1, 2, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, and then ABC into the 2. And then we've got a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here into the 3, ABC here into the 4, and then we were waiting for the fifth wave here. Now yeah, it looks like we're getting absorbed, but from the count that I had, this should not have been touched. Now, that's not to say that we're not just going to completely recover here, because it is entirely possible, because we're still looking at this target up here, but you know, I have to err on the side of caution, because this can't be a 4, right? This can't be a 4 down here. That's just not what it can be. Now, let me just remove this here for just a second. We almost got all the way up here to the 1618 on log scale, and if I go to arithmetic scale, it's the same thing. So I was looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, but we've just come down too far. We've come down too far. Now, again, are we going to bounce up here? Yeah, I mean, it's still very, very possible. You know, the night is young, right? Anything can happen in the next couple hours. But for me, to manage my risk, I would honestly, at this point, because we've been doing so well over the last couple months on our Discord, we've been doing very well. I'd much rather keep the profits that we have gained than to continue to gamble that this is going to just continue moving up. Now, do I think it's going to? I mean, yeah, I think it will, but I'm not as confident in the positions that we currently had open. Some of them, yes, right? Some of them, sure. I do think that they probably are going to perform well, but honestly, at this point, I'd rather be sitting in cash, waiting for new trade setups, essentially. So, with a red day, like today, for instance, there are several stocks that are not going to be performing very well, and you can easily find the biggest losers, and just again, I would rather just be sitting in cash, even though this may just completely get absorbed and start to move higher. The fact that it crossed this line here, this is what I was watching for my area of bullish invalidation. So are we going to find ourselves all the way up here? Yeah. But at this point, what I think I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to be taking smaller positions in this last leg up, and I'm going to be looking for shorts when we get up here to 390 to 395. That's what I'm going to be watching for. Something else that I'm going to be looking for is, you know, obviously ES on the daily. Let's just look at SPY on the daily. Does not look good, right? So SPY on the daily, we're seeing this as, you know, kind of a bearish engulfing. So we had our little abandoned baby up here. And it really isn't technically an abandoned baby, because it'd have to be higher than that. But we're engulfing the candle from Friday, which the candle from Friday ended up, you know, okay. But for right now, it's not looking too hot, right? The last time we had a candle kind of like this, that closed like this, was back here, and you see we had a big gap down the next day. When you get these bearish engulfing candles, here's another one right here. We kind of had, you know, just kind of a doji here, then we had a big bullish engulfing, but the next one was bearish engulfing. And then the next 2 days after that, we were trending lower, right? It really depends on how today is going to end, and I would much rather just be sitting on the sideline and just kind of waiting. Because fact of the matter is, this guy has room to go lower. Like, yeah, we did close this gap pretty well. Like, you have to admit that that was a good gap closure. But if we do a bearish engulfing on this candle for the day, which again, there's 4 hours and 35 minutes left, there's plenty of time for things to change. But the fact that we cut down this deep leads me to believe that we want to go a little bit lower, a little bit lower. So yeah, what we basically have done, if this is right, and we've got a 1, 2, that 175 is sitting right up here at 385, right? Yes, our target to the upside is still looking up here, 390, 395, maybe even higher than that, maybe 400 or so. But if this is the 1, 2, and we've just completed the 3 up here, well, we should be waiting for this guy to come down to the 236, which if that is the case, that's going to come all the way down here to about 369, 370. And if you look left, I mean, there's not a whole lot. We realistically could come all the way down to the 382, even though I don't think we're going to come that low, before we do see that upside target here of near 400. It's possible that we do go lower. Let's go ahead and take a look at RTY. RTY1. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. From this guy, we were watching, and we were kind of expecting him to go a little bit higher, which, again, possible that we still do. You know, really, let me get off of log scale and on arithmetic. We would kind of expect this guy to come all the way up here to 230, but if we completed wave 4, then we should still be, you know, maybe potentially still pulling back. And on the daily, on the Russell futures, right, we don't have that bearish engulfing here, right? We had a bullish engulfing on Friday, and today it's kind of an inside trading day. So Russell doesn't look as bad as, say, SPY does, right? Let's take a look at IWM on the daily and see what that looks like. You know, same deal here. Actually, I've got some old stuff on here, but this still looks okay, right? It's an inside day, whereas on SPY, you have a bearish engulfing day. Let's take a look at the Qs. What do the Qs look like? Yeah, so this, depending on how this this closes, you could have one candle that's going to be engulfing these last 2 days, so Thursday and Friday last week. Even if it closes right here at 324.90, you would still have a bearish engulfing, and pretty substantial, right? So this opened all the way up here, huge gap up, and look at the big sell-off. There's obviously, we're moving into supply, right? We do see some thoughts that we're moving into supply up here. Does that look like distribution on RTY? Well, let's just take a look. On RTY, I'm going to move to a 2-hour time frame, and I may actually move lower than this. I'm going to throw volume on here. Built in, let's get volume. Here we go. Let's see what volume looks like. Okay, so obviously we're going to have more volume during the regular trading hours than we do in after hours and pre-market. Does this look like distribution to me? Let me go to a 5-minute here and see where all this volume kicked in, because that's the key. So here's where we opened at 9:30. There was a decent amount of volume on this guy, more volume here, and then had a little bit of a lull. And when we got up here, we had, you know, a decent amount of volume. So we're looking at a 5-minute here. Does this look like distribution? Actually, this looks like capitulation. This doesn't look like distribution, because, like, for instance, let me just look at GME, because I'm more interested if GameStop has gone through a distribution phase. Looking at GameStop, this guy opened up here at about $87, $88. Actually, it opened up here at about 95. But at any rate, we had a good run up. This actually looks more like distribution. And then you have this blow off top up here, where I guess the majority of that volume was in this candle, but once you had that big spike up, there wasn't a decent amount of volume on this candle. But then on low volume, look at it gapped. It gapped from 133 down to 121. Low volume move up, bigger volume move down. Less volume down here, less volume. So some volume has returned, but it's dumping on low volume. So this is telling me that not a lot of people are willing to buy, right? So you've got a lot of people that are selling, but not a lot of people are buying. So the price is just falling and it's not being absorbed, like we saw, for instance, on SPY, right? Going to SPY, looking at SPY, so we've got, again, a lot of volume down below. So we had a little volume, a little bit more volume, a little bit more volume, a little bit more, then you had your climax. Your selling climax was down here at the bottom, whereas you've had negative 0.21%, negative 0.16%, here you go, negative 0.45%, negative 0.3, and then here negative 0.3 again with even more volume. So this looked like kind of a selling climax. I think we're probably going to revisit these lows. If I had to guess, if I had to guess, we're probably going to revisit these lows. And honestly, we're probably going to, if we're filling gaps, we're going to fill this one right here. So this one's down here at about 375. Does that make sense for us to go down that low? So let's take it from this high to this low and do the pullback. Where are we stopping? So we got to the 1618. We went deeper than the 1618, which leads me to believe when we do come and try and visit this 2618, we're probably going to go lower. Let me put this on log scale. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference here. Let me go to a 30-minute, and we're looking at SPY. We're no longer looking at futures here. We're looking at SPY. So if this is the beginning of a correction, then yeah, I think we are going to revisit this 2618, which is down at about 375. Let me just check and see what max pain is on SPY for today. Max pain for SPY on 2021, 125. Let's do it. We've got max pain on SPY for today. Might not be able to get it quickly here. There we go. Max pain is at 383. Right now we're at 380. So, I mean, it's possible today expires down here around 383. Maybe it expires a little bit lower. We'll have to see where the day ends. You know, max pain on a day like today where there probably isn't a whole lot of open interest. Let me just take a look here. Open interest on SPY for today, January 25th. We've got 455,000 contracts that expire today. 64% of them are bearish. But you've got on January 29th, you've got 1.4 million contracts with 76% bearish. Let's take a look on January 29th. Max pain on SPY. SPY on January 29, January 29th. All right, let's just take a look at this here real quick, and then we'll go ahead and probably end this. That 30-minute candle, while I'm waiting for that to come up, so max pain is at 380 for SPY on Friday. So it's very possible that we've started the beginning of a 1, 2, 3, working on the 4, go down for the 5, and then A, B, C, and then we're going to go maybe lower, depending if this is a 5, 3, 5. But for right now, I think we're probably going to find ourselves just kind of hanging out. If we do find ourselves back up here at 384, right? If we find ourselves back up here, then I'll probably look into getting back into some positions. Right now, let me take a look at AMC as well. So Vaughn asked a question about AMC, which I'll take a look at that. But for right now, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. And looking at SPY, right? Looking at SPY, let's just take Elliott Wave out of the account. Let's just take Elliott Wave out of the equation completely. All right, let's just look at levels. This level, right, actually, I'm going to box it in. So from right here to right there. This right here is what we have to overtake. And yeah, we're right in the middle of it right now, but on like an hourly, we've got to overtake 382. We've got to overtake that guy. If we can't overtake 382, well, then we're bearish, at least short term. Short term. Once we start flipping support and resistance levels, like this level right here, it was resistance, resistance, resistance. We blew through it, support, and now we fell. We fell through it, right? So this box is important resistance for us to grind through. I would much rather be sitting in cash than to gamble that it's going to retake it. I would be more inclined to wait for this. Come up here, retest, then we go up. This is where you're going to want to get in. Not right here, because you're really buying into what was previous resistance. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. You can do what you'd like. It's your account, but this is what I'm doing. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. That's just the way it is. Let's take a look at SPY on our waves indicator. All right. So taking a look at SPY, we had a strong sell here, just like we had a strong sell back here, right? We had a strong sell back here, and then it fell, but it took some time. How long did it take, right? So from the top, how long did that take? That took almost a week, right? And then now we are, we're over here. We were getting our strong sell. So what's a week? That's going to be the 28th. That's Thursday. Okay. Are we going to come back up here? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Where I think we are right now is probably right here. Right here. Except the difference is there's a lot more volume on that move than there was even all the way down here at this bottom. Right? A lot of volume here, but that was at the top. Right? When you get a lot of volume on a top like this, and especially if it gaps down, that's bearish. And it chopped and then it fell. Right? So I'm not going to gamble. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for us to retake that level before I get back in and take it up. Am I going to potentially miss out on some gains? I probably will. I probably will. But I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because, this is just my strategy and you can do whatever you would like to do. This is just what I'm doing. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. I'm not asking you to blindly follow me, but I'm telling you why I'm making this decision to cash out of positions. We've had a really good run. And if this guy can overtake this, I'll start hopping back in. But for right now, I'm going to be sitting aside in cash. After we visit that gap, are we going to continue running to 400? It's possible. It absolutely is. That is still my target. My target is still 400. But do I think we go down a little bit lower? Yeah, I do. I'm watching for, down here potentially at 370. Let me get back on ES. Okay, so on ES, again, the candle looks pretty good, and on futures, that candle looks pretty darn good. But are we in a 1, 2 now? That's the question. So let me remove this bullish invalidation. Let me throw a fib pull on this just to see on this 4, did we have a 1, 2? So I was watching here at this 382. We almost got down here to the 618. This would be the area where I would be willing to try again. I would be willing to try if we got all the way down here to 378, and it probably will take time, right? Because again, what we potentially are in the middle of is an A, a B, and a C, right? It's possible that that's what's going on. It's possible that we've got 5 waves up here, and then A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, work our way down here. This is where I'd be willing to try again to get ourselves back up there. But a lot has to happen between now and then. A lot has to happen between now and Friday. So I'm just going to hang tight. I'm just going to hang tight. Let me take a look at AMC. Question on AMC. Was that on low volume as well? Man, AMC was just unbelievable. Look at this guy. Okay, let me go to again back to the 5-minute. Actually, let's look at the hour here. So a lot of volume on this markup candle. So this is a markup candle, went up 18% here. And then just take a look at this. Again, we're looking at the hourly here for a moment. Almost the equal amount of volume right here, and it barely moved. Okay, less volume here, and it barely moved. Less volume here, and it barely moved. Now, what do we have? Of course, in after hours and pre-market, there's low liquidity, and it's easy to mark up a stock. And that's exactly what happened on AMC. But look at this, just a ton of volume, and it tried to sell off and it got eaten up. The next one, Less volume, but it went down. It went down lower. So let me go down to a 5-minute here, and let's just analyze the open. Large selling pressure at the open. Buying pressure didn't take it up as high. Decent selling pressure, lots of selling pressure at the bottom. This is our capitulation. Then it went up, increasing volume. So yeah, this looks like it is a little bit of distribution up here in AMC, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we went up on low volume, but just watch the volume, and if you continue to see volume declining volume on a rising asset is not good. You need to see sustaining volume for the trend to continue. Like for instance on GME, on GameStop, we're getting very, very similar vibes here, right? From the top here, we're seeing declining volume, right? Lots of volume up here. I thought this was our blow off top. Obviously it wasn't. But then, you know, you've got increasing volume up here to the top, and then it popped, right? Do I think GameStop is done? I mean, I was very, very, very shocked to see it come all the way up there to 159. But it went all the way up and it retraced it completely, which that is bearish to me. So I said for a while now, I'm not going to touch GameStop. I'm still not going to touch GameStop because that looks like a bubble pop. I could be completely wrong, but that looks like a pop. This thing created gaps on the way down right here from this candle right here on the 5-minute to all the way down here. That was a huge gap on the way down. And it happened again right here. It happened again right here. Lots of gaps. That tells me there's low liquidity, which means even if there is distribution that is trying to happen, if somebody decides that they want to sell a couple, I don't know, a couple million shares of GameStop, it can easily, you know, create a little bit of a volatility halt, and then we'll see what happens from there. This looks bad, right? This looks bad. I'm still not going to touch GameStop. All right. Will this influence Bitcoin? Well, yeah, potentially. Potentially, I think it can. But although Bitcoin hasn't, whoops, wrong chart here. But looking at the 5-minute, you know, we're getting that pullback. We're getting that pullback along with the rest of the markets. Taking a look at the hourly and look at what we're doing. It hasn't pulled back as far. We're only down. I mean, it's down 1.94% when the S&P is only down like probably like 0.5%. But you know, I still think that that we're in the middle of this guy right here. We're in the middle of this wedge. Are we going to come all the way up here? I think we probably will. I know we went kind of deep, but again, looking at the volume, and actually I'm not even sure what exchange I'm on because I picked the wrong ticker. This looks like capitulation down here, and we're getting a little bit of volume into selling here. You can see volume is increasing a little bit, but right now it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look as terrible as the regular stocks. And again, you've got lots of institutions that are rotating money into some of these. And actually, I still think Ethereum, let's look at Ethereum on Coinbase. I think Ethereum is that strong stock. So we were watching this guy working on the 3, ABC, on a flat here into the 4. I still think that Ethereum, and I know I've got my top up here, but I still think Ethereum can go much, much higher. We're grinding here. I don't think this is a double top. This looks very bullish. I still think Ethereum looks okay for a move even up to maybe even $3,000. But that's just, you know, that's just my gut reaction on Ethereum because I think it looks fine. So is this going to influence Bitcoin? Is this going to influence crypto? I think it's possible, but a lot has to happen, right? We've really got to see, and I'm looking at ES now. This volume candle is, I mean, we haven't seen this kind of volume. Just looking at this, last time we had this much volume was all the way back here when we had this pullback. All right, we had this pullback and obviously it went higher. But that's the last time we had this much volume. The time before that was going to be this candle back here where it was kind of at the lows. It went to revisit those lows. So I still think we're going to find ourselves back down here at some point here in the next couple days. That's when I'm going to be looking to buy back in. For right now, I need to see a couple things happen. I need to see some resistance levels get reclaimed, And I don't mean to just like close the candle above what that resistance level is. And I think it was on SPY that we were looking at the box, this red box. I need to see not only a closure above there, I want to see it actually go a little bit higher, right? If we're going to reclaim it, I need to see it come up here, do that pullback, and then reclaim that as support. I'm not looking for this. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for to go up, to curl, pull back, and then we can take new positions again. Until then, this is what this is kind of what I'm waiting for. I may actually be looking for some puts here in the next day or two. And we'll kind of be taking it day at a time. All right, I've been talking for way too long. Thanks for joining, everyone. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day.